Hey, are you looking for new ways to spice up the life in your bedroom? Do you want to make your woman squirt like a scared squid? Do you want to see her? I'm not redoing this. Do you want to see? Do you want to go down on her and have your face look like you just ate a box of Gushers? Assuming they're clear. I'm not proposing Red Wings. Then you need to get a new sex toy, right? You need to get a new sex toy from Promescent.com. Use a warming gel on her. Give her some VitaFlux for women, because you know it works for men. I know it does, because I take it. I'm taking some right now. And no fucking around. VitaFlux, I like what it does. I highly suggest it. They only gave me one free bottle. I had to buy my own after. So I am purchasing it. I wouldn't tell you guys to do it if I wasn't getting it. So VitaFlux, I like it. Give it for ladies. Get yourself a sex toy and turn her into a toboggan ride. Turn every encounter with your life into Splash Mountain. So by getting a toy at Promescent.com, that's Promescent.com, Promescent.com. And when you go to checkout, what do? You type in Bain15, BAIN15, get 15% off your order. Right? That's a win-win. That's a win-win. You get your new toys and you get them at a discount. And you don't have to tell your lady. Be like, hey, I spent $1 million on this fucking whatchamacallit, this gadget, this I don't know why I've turned into Ariel trying to explain things from the upper world. Anyway, you're the star of the show, man. Promescent.com. Get yourself rock hard. And get your lady slippery. All right. Enjoy the show.
I said so long, carry on, 'cause the devil wants to take me for a ride.
Touchdown in the land of the Delta Blues. In the middle of the pouring rain, I'ma fuck your mama's pussy too, if she lets me come again. I'm walking in Memphis, walking in a city with a ridiculous crime rate. I'm walking in Memphis. I think I'm a little too white to be in this neighborhood. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? That's how I start my... Why am my sound level so high? That's how I start my podcasts now. With a little... Really? Really? My fan is gonna... Calm down, computer fan. Calm down. There you go. There you go, baby. For those of you who have not watched the fight between Tyson Fury and Wilder, Fury won last night. I give it to Wilder. Man went 11 rounds getting the shit kicked out of him. But he went 11 rounds before he finally got knocked out. Hell of a fighter. But Tyson, the Gypsy King, baby. Tyson... I take back everything I've ever said about Tinkers. I take it all back. I take it back. I'm sorry about all the Tinker jokes I've made, about all the Naka jokes I've made. I take them all back. All right? So after Tyson won, he sang that song. He didn't sing what I sang. He sang the first two lines of... Drop down in the land of the Delta Blues, middle of the pouring rain, which is from Walking in Memphis. I kind of ad-libbed those other two lines. But Good singer. And Tyson, like many an English singer, his accent completely goes away when he sings. So, dude, imagine getting your ass kicked. Imagine getting knocked the fuck out and you wake up and the dude who knocked you out is singing. And he ain't like rage singing metal. He ain't singing hardcore. He ain't even rapping some gangster shit. He's just singing some soft rock. Walking in Memphis. He's singing Train. he's singing that fucking drops of Jupiter in her hair. Hey. Oh man, that would be that'd be some insult to injury, wouldn't it? That'd be some monstrous insult to injury. I've had bullies sing at me with the Bobo song about. I don't know if I talked about this. This is an old joke I have about how as it back in the day. I get this from some white kids, but definitely black kids. This was a city thing. If you had Payless shoes, if you had non-brand name shoes, they called them Bobos. And there was a song that went with it. Bobos, they make your feet feel fine. Bobos, they cost $1.99. Bobos, sometimes it was a nickel and a dime. Bobos. And fucking, dude, when your bullies sing, it's fucking awful. When your bullies make up a song about you, because I had one that was about me. And it wasn't even Bobo related. God damn, who was that? Chris Brooks? Was it Brookins? Brooks. Black dude used to sit next to me in 7th grade. Like, we were cool, but Chris loved to give me shit too. Motherfucker. I liked Chris. Even if he sometimes was a bully. It was weird. He was like a bully friend. I hope that guy's doing well. Anyway, Tyson won. And dude, for those of you who aren't familiar with Tinker culture, I probably should stop saying that because that's a racial slur. So Irish gypsies. All right. I went on Irish gypsies are called travelers, Irish travelers, right? And they are different than traditional Roma gypsies. They're different, but they live a similar lifestyle. They travel around in caravans. I don't just mean a physical caravan. I mean like a caravan type car, like a pickup truck with like a thing on the back that you live in. And they go from town to town, usually committing criminal activity and scams until they get kicked out. They're very insular. They're very parochial. They keep to their own kind. They don't. Sometimes they marry cousins. It can happen. They don't get out. They're very much their own group. And I remember going on a 2-week-long student trip with my University of Massachusetts Amherst, and the guy we're like living with, who like usually does these trips every year, someone goes up to him and asks him about pikeys, because the English call them pikeys. And he said, and this guy was a super liberal guy. He was complaining to us about American conservatism and all that, because the Irish became rather leftist as a result of the fact that British imperialism was kind of right-wing. I guess it was right-wing for the Brits. And, I can go into how that the Irish turning left to fight colonialism in effect fucked them in the face of globalism, but I'll save that for another podcast. Anyway, so one of the kids I'm with goes, "Hey, you guys got pikeys here?" And the guy goes, "Unfortunately," I can't do his accent. "Unfortunately, yes. And they should all be castrated." And he literally said they should be castrated, every fucking one of them. And I was like, whoa. Like, Europeans will sit there and act so, what's the word? Like, bleeding hot. And talk about how Americans are bloodthirsty, gun maniacs, and racists, and cop bootlickers, and every one of us is a slave-owning monster. And then you bring up gypsies to them. In the British Isles, you can bring up Irish travelers. But anywhere you go, bring up gypsies. and they will turn into a eugenics Nazi in a second. I have openly, every European, no matter how liberal they are, will when I bring up gypsies, say they should be exterminated. Almost to a man. So whenever some up their ass European dickwad is getting at you, bring up gypsies. Be like, hey, you should give your house to some gypsies and let them fuck your sister. And anyway, Irish travelers really love music. They're very much a song culture. That's a lot of bluegrass came from them. It came from also Scots-Irish, which were Scottish people who moved to Northern Ireland for the plantations and then made up most of Appalachia. But they travel around. The Irish call them tinkers because they go from town to town doing odd jobs, tinkering with things. Tinker's a slur, and it's very much, us Irish people use it when someone is walking around barefoot or acting like a savage. Oh, you fucking tinkers. The other one is knacka. Knacka is an Irish word for someone who would boil down horses to make for glue and others, whatever bullshit you could get out of them. Because tinkers would do weird odd jobs that no one would really want to do, such as knacka shit. and that one too. That's if they're saying knacka, they're Irish, but they love singing. They would also go around traveling, and they would go to old couples and be like, "Hey, let me put down some new tarmac for you," and then lie. The old couple would think, "I'm paying. This is the total price." And they go, "No, that's a price was foot by foot," and then intimidate them. I'm not going to pretend like they don't do shiesty shit. Obviously, they're not all bad people. Some of them are. A lot of them are. There's an old story that the reason, I don't know if you ever heard this one, that gypsies steal. And then this was something that they kind of taught themselves, was that. Because one of the issues that gypsies have with the greater world is that they feel, fuck you, you're not my tribe, I can steal from you. What Jews do on a financial global level, they do on a fucking take your shit. Relax. Usury is illegal in Islam and Christianity. Judaism, it's only illegal if you do it to other Jews. You can do it to the goy. Okay, there you go. And they had a similar attitude to that, which was, and they got that from the fact that there's an old story they tell that there was 4 nails to nail Jesus to the cross, 2 in the hands and then 2 for each foot, and then a gypsy stole the 4th nail, and Jesus said, you guys can steal now. That's a fucking great origin story. Anyway, Tyson won. Good for him, motherfucker. I like Tyson Fury. Hell of a comeback story. Fun motherfucker. He sings, he dances, he knocks you the fuck out. Good on Tyson. Boxing, one of the only sports I still like, even though it's completely corrupt. Anyway, speaking of Jesus, I've been making friends with all the people. I feel like it's been forever since we talked, mostly because I've been working like a dog. Because I'll get into it later, but I need to gather up some money for some stuff. And obviously, comedy, I can make some money, but, I need a good injection of cash flow to travel and for some family-related things. And so I was working through my old union for as long as I could, and then I started working in this movie set as a grip, and I was hustling like a mad dog, doing 12, 10-hour days, and I feel like I haven't been out there as much online. I'm back. One of the reasons I did it was so that I could then take a chill pill and do more of this and be alive. So I'm here, and I periodically made friends with all the old timers on my street. Everyone's walking around talking. They walk their dogs. It's nice and friendly over here. And this new guy walking by, said hi as I was talking to one of my other neighbors. I'm like, hey, what up, Bob? What up, Tony? Hey, Mike. Hey, how's it going? And he goes, oh, I'm Tom. As he's walking by, what do you do? I heard you say you work in the city. I go, yeah, I work in a movie set. I'm just back. I know I haven't seen you. You're down the end of the street, down the dead end side. He goes, I live up here now. I'm a retiree. And we get to talking, and I'm talking about life and everything going on. He goes, yeah, well, what do you do? And he goes, I'm a pastor. So don't worry about all those F-bombs you dropped. And I go, I want to be like, well, I wasn't, because I swore a lot. I forget how much I swear in conversation. I say fuck. I say shit. I said piss. I'm pretty sure I say cunt and prick too. So I didn't. But at the same time, if someone gets weird about me doing that, I'll be a gentleman about it. But I was like, I didn't fucking care, buddy. All right, I'm not. I was raised atheist and I'm come from Catholic. So what do I care about pastors anyway? Anywho, nice fellow. We get to talking. I start talking about. He talks about how he used to be a drunk and alcoholic. And I go, I used to be a drunk and alcoholic. And we, talking about recovery and stuff and so on and so forth. And I talk about, spiritual recovery. I tell him I was raised atheist. And now, I actually prayed down the beach for the first time like a month or so ago. And I didn't get into the fact that it was like an out loud meditative thing. And it wasn't to Jesus or God. It was to the universe, and whoever's up there, I kind of left it ambiguous. God forbid it's Ra, and I don't know, I'm kind of keeping my options open. When you write a letter and you write "Dear to who it may concern," that's how I'm doing my prayers right now. And and we get this is my issue with Christians, with Protestants. Specifically, especially evangelicals. Nice guy, born again. Saved is what he kept. Saved. I'm a saved. And he's like, well, you know what you're missing from all that? That's good and all. Jesus. And I was like, God, you couldn't we just do this thing where we're just two men and we go, hey, you're building that spiritual muscle that we as Americans and Westerners have lost. Good for you, man. Look at you decalcifying your pineal gland and reaching out into the ether. Fuck yeah, buddy, I'm with you, because that's how I feel, and that's how. This is what like more polytheistic, like well, the only ones left are really the Hindus. They're like that. They don't try and force their Hindu shit on you, and how pagans would do. But God damn, man. Even Catholics don't really pull that shit. But he started getting on me. He's like, it doesn't. You can't go to heaven unless you ask for forgiveness. And I go, all right, here we were doing so good, buddy. We were doing so good, and now you got to get gay for Jesus. You got to get gay for why? Look, man, I like Jesus too. Jesus is just all right with me. Jesus is just all right. Oh, yeah. I like his attitudes of forgiveness and all that. And here's something we did agree upon, was that the Old Testament is fucking bullshit. Because the Old Testament, he didn't say bullshit. He's like, I'll bring you a Bible. And I was like, oh, okay. And he goes, but New Testament. And I go, here we go. I said flat out, brought up the book of Job and all that, talking about how I fell down and, I have to suffer. And we talk about the Old Testament God is just an angry, jealous, fucking 14-year-old. And that's the Jewish Bible. That's the Torah. The Old Testament is Judaism before Jesus. So as a Christian, you shouldn't be reading the Old Testament. Okay, because to be a Christian is to follow Christ. So you should literally only be reading the New Testament. The Old Testament is what it was before Jesus. Okay, you're using an old operating system. Okay, you got an iPhone and you're not fucking updating it. Okay, the New Testament it's the old one. It's 2.0. We had this conversation. I go, because that's where all the love and compassion is. There's no love and compassion in the Old Testament. All right, there's a lot of people getting turned to salt and giant floods and fucking plagues and people getting warts and boils on their grundles. That's the Old Testament. A lot of butt fucking. And, what's that one? There's a story in the Old Testament where these angels come down and they're in Sodom and Gomorrah and they go to some dude's house and he goes, oh, and they're like, hey, you got them angels in there? And the guy goes, oh, no. And they go, we saw some angels come into the city and we want to fuck them. And they go, he goes, because they're doing a lot of fucking in Sodom and Gomorrah, a lot of butt stuff. They really like that butt stuff in Sodom and Gomorrah, huh? And anyway, they go, hey, send them angels out here. so we can fucking tab that ass. We're gonna tab that angel ass, man. I had pussy, I had ass pussy, I had boy pussy, I had mouth pussy. I'm trying to get that angel pussy. Yo, angel got ass pussy? They got that ass. And anyway, he goes, he fucking, oh God, I should have looked up his name for this. He goes, hey, take my daughter. He goes, here's my pretty young, I think she was a virgin, I don't know, but he's like, yo, that's the loyalty to God in the Old Testament, is I'll kill my kid for you, God. God's always testing people, like with Job. I'm gonna give you herpes in your face, and I'm gonna kill all your kids and your livestock. Or who was it? Was it Abraham? Who God said, kill your kid for me, and then he's about to kill him, and he goes, psych! I just wanted to see if you would do it, man. That's just drunken frat bro God. Anyway, so this fella sends his daughter out. And they go, we don't want your daughter. We want them angels, man. Let me fuck them angels, dude. I won't fuck some angel ass. Eventually, he's knock him out. No one fucked the angels, because Sodom and Gomorrah is like a dude who's watched too much porn, right? You know when you watch too much porn and your brain gets all fucked up, and then you, like for me, when I was a young man, I first discovered porn, and then I found anal porn. I go, whoa, this is wild. But, I was 14, 15, and then I discovered painal, so I got into porn where the woman was clearly in pain from the... Jesus Christ. Still kind of enjoy that one, I'm going to be honest with you. That's a classic for me. That's like an old comedy movie you can watch at any time and it's still good. That's what And anyway, I get the sniffles, excuse me. Anyway, I think everyone in Sodom was like, hey, we fucked chicks. We fucked underage chicks. We fucked old chicks. We fucked middle-aged bitches. We fucked pussy. We fucked ass. We fucked mouth. We fucked some earlobes and some nose holes and, and some fat folds. But we ain't ever fucked an angel. Off topic here. Anyway, I came out the next day and there was a Bible under my windshield wiper, and I go, all right, and I was like, this is gonna be a thing. And I saw him driving by. I go, hey, thanks for the book, buddy. He goes, oh, anytime. And it's just like, why can't you just let someone? Here's the thing with converting people: if you just let me find, I'm not gonna do it. If I go to a religion, it is paganism. I will return to the roots of my true ancestors. I'm not worshiping a Semitic, Levantic, Middle Eastern religion. It's not mine. It's not the religion of my people or my fathers or my ancestors. It comes from thousands of miles away from the British Isles. Am I cool with the teachings of Christ and love and compassion and forgiveness? Absolutely. Goodwill to your fellow man? Hell yeah. But there's a lot of other shit that comes with it I ain't fucking rocking. And this always happens is that, same thing. Like if I ever bring up that I was raised Catholic to evangelical girls I've tried to fool around with, they have to go on a 30-minute rant about why Catholicism sucks. And I go, dude, I didn't say I was even one. What is your deal? Let it go. You're going to heaven, right? And they're not. Isn't that your whole thing? Anyway, Tommy down the street said, I know you're a sinner. And I was kind of like, well, but he's right. Because I admitted to some things in front of him in my past, but I didn't. He goes, yeah, no, you're a sinner. And I go, all right, I'm a fucking sinner, whatever. But he's like, you gotta ask for forgiveness. And I go, and I understand why people ask for forgiveness from God. Because I think about it. I think of some of the guilt I carry with me to things I've done I'm not proud of. And I have them. And I think we all have them. And I think what people want, what sitting down and giving yourself to Jesus allows, is for you to completely absolve yourself of your sins and to remove that guilt. And as I thought about it, sitting down after that conversation, it felt very airy and uplifting to be able to release this guilt I have from degenerate and deviant behaviors that I've done. that kind of sit in the back of my mind sometimes and give me anxiety still. But I also thought, it seems like an easy way out. It seems like, why am I asking someone else for forgiveness? At the end of the day, the forgiveness has to come from me and the people around me. So what good is it if Jesus forgives me, but no one else around me, or I even myself don't forgive me? It seems like it's not doing the heavy lifting, which is the hard part, which is forgiving yourself. That's the tough shit. Also, if I worship some pagan god, I don't. Usually they're like so they're cool with that shit. They go, Odin and Thor, like, let's go get fucking drunk and fuck some pussy, man. Like, like, I'd much rather sit down and go to Zeus, please forgive me. And Zeus is like, dude, I fuck chicks and dudes. he's like, I had Ganymede. You know that demigod, Ganymede? Yeah, I used to fuck him. Nice, smooth, twink butt. Used to get down in that. Dude, I used to come down to earth like a bull and fuck bitches. That's bestiality, man. That's how, man, I'm fucking Zeus. I get down. And I'd be like, damn, Zeus. Damn, like, I thought I was gnarly. You're a motherfucker, buddy. I want to pray to some pagan gods. Just sit there and like, dear Hephaestus, how do you get around with a regular man torso and those tiny cripple legs? How do you ever get mad that you're a god, yet somehow you're a fucking cripple in a chair? Dear Set, does it bother you that you have an animal head? Dear Hell, does the smell of the half of your face that is a decomposed corpse ever come into the other half of your face that is a regular lady? Do you have to smell the rot of your... Also, is that line go down your whole body? So, like, does it end at your pussy? Like, is part of the pussy regular pussy and part of the pussy is corpse pussy? Okay, speaking of cripple legs, I went to the fair. And I was looking forward to this. I went to the fair with my cousin and her kids. Had a wonderful time, but I love the fair. It was, I used to go to this fair as a kid. Columbus Day weekend, I go to the fair every year with my family up in New Hampshire. And I loved it. I loved looking at the animals. I love the gross smell of manure and hay. And I used to love the food. I used to get soup in a bread bowl. And then I never played any games, but I would go on rides till I couldn't go on rides anymore. And now that I went with my cousin's kids at 6 and 7, and I take his son on some rides, and there's one he's too scared to go on. And then he goes in a couple, and he gets it. He's like, all right, let's do it. I go, yeah? He goes, yeah. Get on the ride, and like, now as an adult, I go, dude, as a kid, you just think I'm going to be safe. And then now as an adult, you watch videos of these rides collapsing, and then you get there, and they're run by I remember I said, speaking of crippled legs, I'll get to that in a second. That's why I bring up the fair. Anyway, they're run by carnies and random Central Americans. Just, and it's funny. One year I went on one, and someone wrote in the Sharpie, this ride was built by Mexicans. How safe do you feel? And anyway, we get there, and I finally get up the ride, and I should have had him keep his hat on because he looked taller with his hat. And the guy running it, and this was the scariest ride in the park, just really. And he Senator barely speaks English, probably Guatemalan, I think, maybe something like that. And he points at my cousin's kid, I'll call him my cousin, and he goes, how tall he? I don't know why he did a Chinese accent. I'm not good with it. How tall he? He turns into morphs into he just, now I'm Chinaman. He just morphs in. Anyway, he makes him stand up against a thing, and then he measures him, and he looks at me, and he goes, on time. I don't know why it keeps coming out Chinese. I'm trying to do the Spanish, Central Mexican, South Mexican, Central American accent. One time. Anyway, he goes, oh, one time. I can't. Why is this happening? Anyway, he goes, one time. I go, yeah, one time. No more. One time. And I was like he's not gonna fall out there for so. And then we get to a point where we're spinning, and it's a centrifugal, spinning, and then it goes up in the air, and we're facing down, and his mom is getting scared, and I reach out, I put my hand on him. God forbid he slips out. I'm holding him, he's fine. We get down, she goes, you're not doing that one again. And then we get on the Gravitron, which is that one that spins you around. It used to be an interior one, like it looked like a spaceship. Maybe they're not doing it because of COVID. I don't know. Or because you go in there and you could smoke weed as a kid. Again, fucking get a little fucking rubby tuggy. And we go in there, and now it's an outside one. It just spins you around and you get sucked to the side, and you're supposed to be, it says 0 gravity. And at the very end, I'm hurting. I don't know what's going on, but these rides are fucking me up bad. I'm getting dizzy. I'm and then I get off, and I go, my cousin, his mom looks at me and goes, you look really white. And I go, I am fighting to not throw up right now. And I look at my son, I go, I'm going to have to sit a few out. I did I did the carousel. I did some little kid ones with his youngest sister. I did the Ferris wheel with him, and I did a slide with a burlap sack. I can't do it. I can't. And I was trying to figure out, I used to be able to do these like crazy. And I go, what happened? Is it because my bone structure's changed? Is it my muscles? And then I think it was my neck hurt, and I go, oh, I have adult stress. As a kid, you're just so like rubbery. You're like rubber band man. You're like Stretch Armstrong because the world is ahead of you. And then as you grow up, things happen. Like you go, oh, my parents are going to die and I don't know what's going to happen. And you go, oh, I have bills to pay. Oh, I might lose my house. Oh, I might be homeless. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to eat healthy food anymore. I think I'm just going to have to live off Spam and ramen. Oh, how do I raise kids despite the fact that Western civilization is in a catastrophic decline and the American culture, empire, and civilization is on its deathbed? And all these, and you think, hey, is this how Romans felt when the Visigoths were battling down the Italian peninsula? What? And you start, and then over and over again, like, oh, am I just gonna, I didn't do this. I'm running out of time in life. Am I ever gonna go to see this place? Or, hey, my wife doesn't fuck me anymore. And all that shit comes down, and little by little, your muscles just tighten up till you're sitting there like a hunchback, and you're barely held together, just rigid fucking, you're like a little fucking pimple just waiting to burst, just trying to make it through. Like all that, so much of being an adult is your body's just wound up and tightened. That's all. Yoga is just you trying to release that tension of life. And I realized, oh, that's what happened. He's not worried about shit. I am. So all that gravity was just like, it was like a bad acid trip, just crunching me up. Anyway, I understand the thing that you hate about kids that also kind of makes them amazing is they don't have a concept of money. They don't get it. They don't, and it's a frustrating thing for parents, but it's also something beautiful. It's a weird dichotomy because he kept going, let's play this game. I want to play this game, and each game is $5, and you literally watch him. He threw a softball. He goes, I want to play this one, and I go, Colton, that's a scam. And he goes, what's a scam? And I go, scam is when someone sets up a way for you to lose your money with the illusion of you gaining something when you spend money. And he goes, and I'm trying to get him to play a game where he might win. And I go, let's do the dot thing, but the dots at $10 for 7 dots or 20 for 10. I don't know what it was. It was something stupid. And I go, fuck this, $10 to piss away? No, what am I doing, Coke? And I turned into my dad completely. And all the food was just, it was $7 for fried dough. Which, by the way, did fried dough always suck? Did it always suck? Because I used to, maybe it's because I'm getting older, because as soon as I came home, horrible stomach aches. And I constantly have this thing where I go, hey, did the things I like as a kid, did they suck? And I just didn't have enough options to know better, right? Because if you might date a girl and think, oh, she got the best pussy in the world, and then you sample some good pussy and you go, wait a minute, that was mediocre pussy. Now I know. Now I know. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Wait, no, other way. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Almost pulled a George Bush right there. And anyway, fried dough. I asked for butter. I'm sure it was fake butter. He took a little brush and went dink dink. I go, fuck you, dude. And I go, give me some of that Bavarian cream. Dollop. Didn't even spread it around. I go, what the fuck, man? And I'm like, maybe the other places have better fried dough. No. Fried dough it's funny. Fried dough is what the Okies would eat during the Great Dust Bowl migration. So it is very much a cheap, poor people food. All right, so during the Great Depression, they used to come. I remember reading the Grapes of Wrath, and they would complain about having to eat fried dough. It was because there was no nutrition. It was a monstrous complaint. This was cheap, poor people food that now is a fair delicacy. And I think some of you who don't know what fried dough is, it's what you savages call funnel cake. We call it fried dough because that's what it is. Mm-hmm. Trying to make it sound fancier. Anyway, kids and money. The food is just insanely expensive for shitty food. Insanely expensive. And the games, and I go, this is my dad. I get it. I get how he was. I never played games, thankfully, but so we played the water gun game, as I know I can win on that one. Then I got him a stuffed animal. That was fun. And then, but he picks this game where it's a softball and you throw it at 3 blocks. And you got to get all 3 blocks. And I hand the guy $5. He throws the ball, misses by 3 feet. And it's like, all right, that's it. And the guy goes, do you want a whistle or a necklace? But this guy had that, that I smoked for 80 years and he put the thing and he goes, you want a necklace or a whistle? And then my cousin goes, I'll take a necklace, because he just got a chain, so now he thinks that. But it's just beads. It's Mardi Gras titty beads. And I go, dude, you want a whistle? And the guy goes, I thought you'd want a whistle too. And I go, get a whistle. I go, dude, now I get it. Now I get, as a parent, you get a frustration because your kid goes, I want to do this and I want to do this. And he's not my kid, but, and then you have to go, we can't do this. And he goes, why can't we do this? And I go, because I don't have the money. And they go, why don't you have enough money? And as an American, you feel like a failure. That's how our culture is set up. Our culture is set up that in order to achieve happiness, you have to spend money. And then you're reminded about how little money you have in the grand scheme of it all. Because, it's like you could drop $100 in 10 minutes with your kid playing these games. You got bills and shit. And your kid goes, why can't I have this? And I did that to my dad so many times. Why can't we eat out? Why can't we do this? And then now I understand him as a man. Why he would get frustrated and hurt because he goes, I'm working my balls off. I'm working and I still can't, even him with a good union state job, it's not enough. It ain't enough for me to just spend crazy money on my kid. It's not enough. So I get it. Also, so speaking of crippled legs, carnival folk. we taught them, the kids, what carnies were. They go, what are carnies? And, I use that Austin Powers line there. They smell like cabbage and have little hands, And then, but we were like, you be careful around them. And I'm sure they're like travelers, and they are very much gypsy folk. But I see this one girl, and I think she was with them. Maybe she was someone's kid or something, but I don't know. But she very much reminded me of, who was the girl from The Hunchback of Notre Dame? Esmeralda is a gypsy girl, I think. And so my type of women is nice Celtic goddess, fair skin, freckles, just milky white skin, ginger hair, blue, green, gray eyes. Or blonde. I'll take blonde too. So fair skin, fair eyes, blonde hair. But also, like, my other type would be Mediterranean girls who have like that dark jet raven black hair. More, not as pale, more tan, but still white, I guess. And then, but their eyes have there's a darkness to their eyes. Understand what I'm saying? Like that darkness of their hair. I've seen Portuguese, Sicilian girls have this, of both their hair and their eyes kind of mashed together. A lot of gypsy women have it. It reminds me of Esmeralda from that story. And I see this girl with big hoop earrings. I love hoop earrings and a girl with jet black hair. Oh, man. It's why there's something about a girl with jet black hair in a Yankees shirt that I just want to fuck. And I've always had a thing for it. A girl in Yankees gear with that jet, because then it makes sense. They get so many Hispanics and Italians down there. And anyway, I see her and I'm like, ooh. And I notice one of her legs is a foot shorter than the other one. And she's wearing the same shoes, but one of them has a block that she's walking with, a solid foot long block. I'm like, all right. Then I notice she doesn't have any arms. She has no arms. Just kind of two nubs on each side. And I was like, wow. But then I also noticed she got a nice ass. She got a fat ass. A good ass. This girl had a nice ass. And I liked her hair and her hoop earrings and her whole energy and charisma. And then she turned around. I go, she got a pretty face too. And she bought a wristband. And then you have to buy a ticket. And then you walk over to someone to get a wristband. And I was waiting because I wanted to see what the Connies would do when she came over with, and be like, because I would, if I had to put a wristband and then I go and there's no arms or wrists to put it on, I'd freak out. But they were ready. I could tell these carnival folks were like, yeah, whatever, I've seen everything, I'm a gypsy. And they just snuck it on her bag, because I would have sat there your leg? Oh no, one of them's too small. Ah! And dude, I was mesmerized by this chick. I thought she was so fine. I don't know. I like strong women. And when I see a woman who's overcome an obstacle in her life and doesn't let it fucking stop her, God, does that fucking turn me on. It really does. And so I'm I keep poking Ryan her, and I think she was with them because at one point she was sitting on a random, it was the car seat from the back of a pickup that someone had just put out in between the trailers, in between the rides. And I go, maybe she's chilling there, but she was with her. And I was I wanted to go spit game with her. I wanted to go hit on her. And the reason I didn't is when I was with my family, but I could have done it anyway, but was not because of any of her ailments, because none of that would have stopped me. I don't care. So what? It's, how everyone's like, oh, I want a blowjob with no hands. There you go. I do enjoy a good handy. And you know what? I don't like blowjobs with no hands. I don't understand why people like that. I feel like a blowjob with hand, is better. She gets to hold it in place and better concentrate. It's way better. So guys who want blowjobs with no hands, get over yourself. I think, what I think that is? I think it's because if your dick's too small, the hand will cover up the whole dick, and that's why you guys are doing that. Not to throw shade, but fuck you, I'm throwing shade. Anyway. You know why I didn't go hit on her? It was because she was 10 years younger than me, and I didn't want to be the creepy old dude. That's what it was. That's what stopped me. here I am carrying. And it was because she was with her friend. She was with her blonde friend. Her blonde friend definitely looked like early 20s. And I was like, I'm like, Bain, I don't give a fuck what people think. But I was like, what if she feels uncomfortable? I don't want her to feel like, who's this old fucking dude coming over here? But who knows? And I didn't want to be like, hey, maybe she's going to go along with it because she got no arms and no one's going to... Because that's a fucking douche move too. Either way, maybe the love of my life walked away from me that night. Anyway, who cares? What I'm saying is, if you're an amputee and you listen to the podcast, don't be afraid to write in. Dave Chapelle released a new special. Amazing special. Loved it. I'm disappointed that so many of my comedian friends didn't like it. I don't get it. They complained that Dave had talked about transgender shit too much. It's funny. A lady comic I know who's very liberal and progressive said she made it 33 minutes in. And it's funny because at 33 minutes in is when Dave called out the Me Too movement and the women's movement for their inherent racism and the fact that it's just white people trying to gain a minority status over black people. And I go, oh, it's very convenient that this girl stopped watching at 33 minutes. Yeah, and it's funny that you knew the exact time because I thought it was a brilliant special. I think if you watch it, there were a couple times where he shit on Zionism. If you're listening, the whole slavery, a lot of people didn't get it, but the whole leaving Earth and coming back, that was Jews leaving Jerusalem and then coming back in the 20th century. Zionism. And the other thing about slaves owning slaves, that was him getting at them for being victims of genocide and now conducting a genocide. A lot of people missed that joke. But the other thing I think a lot of people missed is that what Dave was saying was that white Western feminism that we were, and the LGBTQ movement, because that's existed around the world. There have been trans people and gay people since time immemorial. But it's never been a political thing, and it's never been a culture. It's not a culture. Being trans isn't like that. That's your culture is your lineage. You Irish, are you Bantu? What tribe do you come from? Are you Jewish? Are you what group do you come from in India? Are you Pashto? Are you Han Chinese? Are you Tibetan? That's a culture. That is a thing that has been passed. A culture needs to be passed down from parents to children, okay? So it doesn't, the idea of sexuality as a culture, just understand that it's baffling and it's being forced that way. And he calls that out. And he calls out, I don't want to, spoiler alert, all right? But anyway, he calls out essentially the fact that modern day white leftism is very much not all of it, because a lot of it is still good shit. Some of it's still good shit, but this he calls out the fact that, and it's funny, the people who don't like it are usually left-wing comics now, and because now he's telling them, you don't get to define for us black people what shit is, we will. And you get to the point is that modern feminism, white Western leftist feminism, and the LGBTQ political cultural movement are neo-colonialism, because they're being forced on black, brown, and indigenous people. And now he didn't outright say this. This is my interpretation of what he said. I believe this is what he was saying, and called them out. He goes, it's really just, you guys are using this as rich white people gobbling up this progressive culture to hold over our heads, because now Dave Chapelle, as a black man, am punching down on you as a white trans woman, white guy who now is, like, he has a great joke where he goes, well, I'm a woman now, and then he says a word I'm not going to throw out there, and he goes, you tricked me. And he goes, you guys don't realize what is at stake here. And I think a lot of people don't. This has flown over so many people's heads. And what's funny is after the special, he explains, and this is what it is. It's kind of what happened with the civil rights movement, where rich, spoiled white kids tried to take the civil rights movement from black people, especially like the Weatherman Underground, who were all rich white, they were all Jews from New York City. who tried to like take the fight from the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers beat the shit out of them. So get the fuck out of here. And you can't take my black... Like, they tried to take their blackness and their suffering and apply it to themselves and then become the leaders of these black movements. But instead, because in the trans movement, you can't be called out. I can't just go, hey, you're a phony or a fake. They can hold that. You can be like, hey, Rachel Dolezal, cut the shit. I can't go, hey, dude with a beard, you're not a lady. Because then you're transphobic. And so it's a... What America does with these movements is it sucks them up and it profiteers off them and turns it into a commodity. Okay? So one of the guys who was a Black Panther leader has now ended up like a decade or two later selling shit. Like he was, I don't remember what, barbecue sauce. That's how it works, man. They bribe you. They give you a bribe to go away, and they did with gangster rap. Now Ice-T and Ice Cube are doing kid movies and Hollywood shows, and they were singing Cop Killer, and they were part of NWA. That's how it works. When a movement, BLM, became co-opted by these corporate entities, it happens time and time again. And then they lose all their bark and all their bite. And Dave did it with that, and it was whatever. He really... I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was the second best special next to the Bird Revelation. And he really was like a final, like he said what he needed to say and what a lot of people wanted to hear, I think. And really, it was good shit. And what was funny and what really exemplified this is that a white trans woman who used to do is get pictures of her pee-pee out there, which whatever, that's fine, but was just a goofy, like, neck beard, like nerd progressive dude you would see on a college campus. And the same day on Instagram posted a picture of, these pronouns are going to get weird, him with a beard, just being a fucking, like, I haven't showered in 2 weeks kind of neck beard you see on campus. And then later in the day, shaved, wearing a dress, I'm a woman now and these are my pronouns. Now this individual... spoiled white brat, is now the showrunner for a show on Netflix called Dear White People with an all-black cast. And the showrunner is a white, now trans woman, previously white dude. And this person came out and said, you can look this up. Hold on, let me just grab their name so you can look it up, because I implore you to look at... I implore you to look at pictures of this individual so you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Hold on, give me 1 second. You guys can deal with a little silence. Thought I had it here. Anyway, this lady is... What is her name? Jaclyn Moore. Jaclyn, Jaclyn, is boycotting Netflix because they gave Chapelle this platform and accused him of punching down. And it's literally what Dave said, which is that there's a show for black people being run, but now because you grew up a white, spoiled dude but now you're a lady and a part of a marginalized group and you get to dictate to us? You don't understand that we're still not in charge. It's the civil rights movement with the Weather Underground all over again. Okay? And it proved the point, and the people who didn't like it, I think I understand why they didn't like it. I thought it was a great fucking special. All right, now, is Dave doing joke per minute like a traditional comedian? No. He's doing what Dan Carlin did towards the end of his career, which is he's evolving into a point where he's doing stand-up philosophy. It's not just stand-up comedy. And honestly, fuck that old method of stand-up comedy. Is it great sometimes? Yeah, I still like it. Like, I love Tim Dillon and Tim kind of rants. Shane Gillis, fucking, if you haven't seen, check out Shane Gillis' special. Fucking awesome special. Hilarious dude. Great dude. Oh, also more transition during the pandemic. So it just happened. It's literally a way for elites. The war is the class war. And identity politics are a distraction to keep poor people from getting up and saying, dude, you've robbed us during this pandemic. You've transferred over $1 trillion. Your pharmaceutical companies are evil. Fuck you. We're done. That's what this is. That's what... And I think Dave called this out, which is that feminism and the political... I'm not saying just being LGBTQ. Please understand that. The cultural, political thing that goes along with it are destructive to the family. And the family is the core of your tribe, your culture, and your tradition. Family's everything. I know that now more than ever. I know Jacelyn transitioned during the pandemic. I realized that family is more important than anything during the pandemic. That's what I realized. And a man and a woman fighting over who gets to be the man, which is the result of modern feminism, all right, is now we both get to go work miserable, soul-sucking jobs and still not make enough money. That's what it is. And that lifestyle, that's very much a white Western European lifestyle, and it's an American thing. It is an American identity. Americans have been fighting off a class war since Jamestown. All right, in the mid 1600s, Bacon had a rebellion. Bacon's Rebellion. You should look it up. It's not taught in school. And it was a class war between the poor whites who came over here as white slaves, the indentured servants, but they were treated like fucking dog shit. And they were temporary slaves with the promise of rights when they were done with their service. And they didn't always get them. And that's how it worked. But they had to they couldn't, as Christians, fully enslave their fellow, people. Okay? That's something they couldn't do. All right? Even though the Irish were subhuman, they used Irish, they were still Christians. They were Catholics, but they were Christians. So after Bacon's Rebellion, the colonial government said, we can't be doing this. We have these armed, broke white people who we treat as subhumans, and they will rise up against us. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to use African slaves. There had been a very small amount of African slaves. Only the rich used them. But they were like, they're not Christians, so we can fully enslave them and we treat them like property, never like people. Like 3/5 of a person, but never like full people, And we will use them as an other within our society to pit against the poor whites so that they never rise up. And they didn't. Okay, and there's an inside other and an outside other. The outside other was the Native Americans. The outside other. All right, the inside other is, and by creating this division, by importing a new group of people to create division, they prevented this class war from ever taking place. And who were most of our leaders when the country became the country? Virginians. So that became an American thing, and now it's in Western Europe and every other country under our hegemonic rule. Okay, all the anglicized countries. That's why fucking Eastern Europe doesn't play our bullshit games. Because we don't... Because we have imported that ideology, and that's why in Western Europe they're bringing in new people to create an other to stave off their impending class wars in Western and Northern Europe. And America, we had the Native Americans. What happened after we got rid of the Native Americans, end of the frontier? Spanish-American War. That's a new other. 10 years, 20 years later, First World War, Second World War. Now the Germans are our enemies. All right, and then bam, communist, Russia is our enemy, and then radical Islam is our enemy, and now we're looking for, now Russia's our enemy again, but also certain groups of Americans, and that never stopped. All right, and Dave kind of, and to fight off the class war, the elites will come up with a way to say, you, as a broke motherfucker, as a broke white dude, as a broke black dude, are punching down at me. And you go, motherfucker, I live in a box. But they go, yeah, but you're a man, and I'm a woman. And you go, but you're a billionaire woman. You go, yeah, but it doesn't matter. You're a man. You're still... Or I'm trans, or I'm this, but you're punching down. And it's like, I can't punch down at you. I fucking work at McDonald's. Okay? I work for minimum wage. Yeah, but you're part of this group and it's like, and that is what this all is to prevent you from pointing your finger at those in the hierarchy of class above you. Because there is only really one division here, and it's fucking class division. Anyway, I got too fucking off. I'm sorry. I got to finish with, all right, I'm going to finish. This is going to be a little long. I'm going to finish with this because I got to fucking read this. I can't wait another 2 weeks. I'm sorry. I went, where am I? Okay. This was too good for me not to read. I get it. It's about Corona. I said I wouldn't talk about it much more. Fuck you. I'm sorry. Okay. This article came out. It's in the Daily News and Newsweek. Newsweek is traditionally leftist. The Daily News is traditionally more right-wing. They're British papers. So this ain't political in a left-right paradigm, and it shouldn't be. But like, for the love of, I have to fucking read this. Okay, this is the article. All right, you can Google Wuhan Lab, Newsweek, or Daily Mail, the other one. All right, this is the opening paragraph. Okay, this is the article. Less than 2 years before the COVID-19 pandemic began, scientists at the Wuhan Institute of Virology plan to genetically alter viruses to make them more infectious for humans and release them into bat caves. Why is this not on every, well, we know why it's not on every news channel. Because then our government and the Chinese government are going to admit that we made fucking Corona. We did it. We killed millions of people. We destroyed the economy. And now we're making you get the fucking shot for the thing that we fucking made. The research proposal was part of a trove of documents released this week by a group of scientists and activists who are trying to determine the origins of the pandemic, which has killed 4.7 million people around the world, according to Johns Hopkins University. The Wuhan scientists were listed as partners in a funding proposal the environmental health nonprofit EcoHealth Alliance made. EcoHealth Alliance. Oh, wow. Doesn't that sound so nice for a group of people that are making viruses in bat caves in Wuhan? I'm a member of the EcoHealth Alliance. It sounds so much better than Umbrella Corporation, doesn't it? Well, you know what? Umbrella Corporation sounds nice on paper. So it is. It's Umbrella Corporation. The EcoHealth Alliance made to the U.S. government's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA. If you ever played Metal Gear Solid, you know what DARPA is. They basically develop weapons, and basically this virus was designed because we were dicking around, or they were dicking around, with biogenetic chemical warfare. I think a lot of people forget this, that the U.S. and the Soviet Union have been, and China now, and all the big players, have been developing viruses as weapons, all right? First nation to really do it were the Japanese. The Japanese would drop bags of fleas infected with bubonic plague over Chinese cities. Like paper bags filled with fleas over Chinese cities infected with bubonic plague, right? And the Chinese haven't forgotten this. Trust me, a lot of times, unfortunately, the people who, there's an old saying that the former slaves make the worst slave masters. Well, here you fucking go. Anyway, DARPA rejected the proposal. It's not clear what happened to the research project. I wonder what happened to it, which the documents described as having a good running start. How do you know? How do you measure a good running start? Well, hey, you remember that COVID thing that SARS bat virus? Well, I put a new one in there. Killed about 80 fucking bats, okay? The old one killed 8. So, dude, we're killing it. No pun intended, buddy. Pun intended. There's a growing suspicion of China's official version has been driven in large measure by the decentralized radical autonomous search team investigating COVID-19, or DRASTIC. Well, thank you for making that acronym. That was a lot. They released the documents. Yeah. Do you guys really think that China, an authoritarian communist, not full communist, but, an authoritarian one-party regime, might be lying to us, even though they lie to their own people? So Drastic has been doing this research. It hasn't even been the U.S. government. For some reason, we aren't looking into the origins of this. None of the world's governments are, Richard Abright, Board of Governors, Professor of Chemistry and Chemical Biology at Rutgers University and Laboratory and Director at the Wexman Institute of Microbiology, tweeted out the findings of the latest Drastic document dump and said the world should be furious at the news. You would hope. The document showed researchers aspired to genetically alter coronaviruses and monitor their release and transmission in bat caves to determine the risks those viruses pose to humans. Oh, yeah, hey, you know what we should do? We should drop a nuke and put a few people there just so we know what it would do to people so we could better prevent against it. Hey, you know what I should do, honey? I should cheat on you. That way I can see how you respond to it. That way if I ever do cheat on you, we better know how to handle it. That's what this is every science fiction movie, and it's real life. It's very convenient that they've been developing this virus for a decade, and they've also been experimenting with SARS-CoV viruses in bats for years. It's almost like the two were happening simultaneously. Guys, I have a friend who gives me shit for this, and he loves Resident Evil, and I just want to sit him down and go, Tom, when are you going to realize that Umbrella Corporation is real? They're just called Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, Purdue, and Monsanto. What the... Like, you live in the... Just like Umbrella, they cover everything up. Like, what... This is Raccoon City, man. This is it. This is the fucking mansion. The Wuhan Lab is the mansion, okay? And people, who was it? Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine came out, and they go, hey, guys, they did some shit. And everyone goes, shut up, you bunch of conspiracy theorists. Can you believe these two? Can you believe them? A whistleblower showed the EcoHealth Alliance collaborated with the Wuhan Institute of Virology to carry out advanced and dangerous human pathogenicity bat coronavirus research through a grant proposal EcoHealth Alliance filed with DARPA. So the EcoHealth Alliance went to DARPA and they said, give us $16 million and we're going to experiment on bats. And DARPA says that they were like, no, So the EcoHealth Alliance never said they didn't go through with it. What they're saying is they just didn't get money from DARPA. So maybe they got money from someone else. Or they just did it for fucking shits and giggles. Because, hey, man, why not take a virus from a bat, make it a super virus, and then shove it into a fucking bat cave? Because, why not, dude? Hey, I'd fuck, if I was looking for, to have a real experience, I'd go to the third world and fuck a hooker, which I haven't done. Relax, but if I wanted a real fucking crazy thing, do that, because then you're not gonna kill anyone but you. You're not. I mean, you might get something gross, but you're not. You're not gonna get AIDS from fucking pussy. All right, that's okay. In its funding request, EcoHealth Alliance proposed injecting deadly chimeric bat coronaviruses collected by the Wuhan Institute of Virology into humanized and batified mice. So chimeric. So a chimera is a mythological beast. It has the head and body of a lion, its tail is a snake, and for some reason there's a goat head on its back, just an angry goat head. So it is a three-headed monster, and a chimera, when they're talking about chimera nowadays, they often use it to describe life forms that have been spliced. A chimera, so it's a chimera was three animals mushed together, when people talk about chimera now, like the theory of like, there was this theory that a lot of people are throwing out that they want to make human like pig or human horse workers. There was a movie, Thank You for Answering. It was about this black guy who does a white voice at a call center that dealt with this. And there's a theory that corporations wanted to make them because they wouldn't be humans, and therefore human work laws wouldn't matter to them. Here's the thing. I don't know what to think. I don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't put, like, when you look at the U.S. government, you realize that there's always someone who comes down to a table, or in the corporate world, who throws out a crazy idea, and a lot of times they go, no, we're not going to do that. Okay, but the idea was thrown out. Anyway, humanized and batified mice. Okay, so you know what? I take back what I just said. What the fuck is a humanized mouse? And what is a batified mouse? What's a batified mouse, man? What is it? Dude, please don't, like, that's the last thing I need is mice with wings in my house. Just like dropping little shits everywhere. Like now my mice traps are worthless. I can't catch them. Like, he goes to get the cheese, but he doesn't put any pressure on because he's fluttering with little mice bat wings. They took a deadly virus from a bat, a COVID SARS virus, if you will, and go, hey, let's inject it into mice that we've also put bat and human genes into. Guys, it's Umbrella Corp. It's and there's still people who fight me over this shit. And regardless of what your stances are on vaxxes, on masks, or lockdowns, can't we all just come together and go and just kill everyone in the EcoHealth Alliance? And like the copy of EcoHealth Alliance's proposal shared by Drastic Research said the proposed project aimed to diffuse the potential for spillover of novel bat origin, high zoonotic risk, SARS-related coronaviruses in Asia. Guys, we're just doing this to examine what would happen if it did happen. This is... Okay, let's hypothetically speaking, you fuck someone. All right, and that person goes, and then you get herpes, and you go, hey, I haven't had sex with anyone in 5 months except for you, and now I have herpes. And they go, it wasn't me. And you go, but I've only fucked you. They go, but it wasn't me. And they go, you have a cold sore on your lip, and you sucked my dick. Now there's a herpes on my dick. And you go, it wasn't me. Where would you get that idea? Do you have any proof? And I go, well, you are the only one that I fucked, and you have a herpes on your mouth, and now there's a herpes on my penis, so I'm just going to go out on a limb. You know, there is a institute in Wuhan that is experimenting with bats to see if a coronavirus in bats could spill over into human beings. And it just so happens that a coronavirus, COVID virus, started in Wuhan from bats transmitting to humans, which they all predicted in that show Explained on Netflix. Which they literally said it was going to come from Wetmont, China. Anyway, and, it's not related. Yeah, no, look, dude, it just happened because it's not related to that thing, dude. This is what that feels like. I feel like I'm in a horror. If you're living in a small town and there's one mansion on a hill and it's old and decrepit and scary and there's a guy up there and he experiments with lightning and you never see him, but you see shadows. You know, there's some weird shit going up there. And occasionally some graves get dug up around town, but you don't have proof who's been digging up these graves. But, you might think it's that goofy guy up there in the house on the hill. And you have everyone down in the bottom in our little communities living life. And then one day, there's a Frankenstein monster, and he comes out, and he throws a little girl in a lake, and you're like, oh, I wonder where this giant human corpse Frankenstein monster came from. Did it come from Eddie next door? Nah. Is it a conspiracy to think that maybe it comes from Old Man on the Hill? Just... oh... required $14 million from DARPA, so 14, not 16, excuse me. This was dated March 2018, less than 2 years before SARS-CoV-2, the coronavirus that causes COVID-19, began spreading around the world. Wow. It's almost like coincidence, isn't it? Yeah, and DARPA assessed that it was aimed to... Well, DARPA said the project had a good running start. I'll establish that. It noted several weaknesses within the proposal, including DARPA's concern that vaccine approaches may lack sufficient... excuse me, how I pronounce this word. Epitope. Concern that vaccine approaches may lack sufficient epitope coverage to effectively protect against the diverse and evolving quasi-species of the many coronaviruses found in the bat caves. So, DARPA didn't go through with this because they didn't think they had a good enough vaccine yet for the... Jesus, titty fucking Christ! And what... You know what I don't get? All right, I'm going to say this. I've come to this realization that a lot of us realize that society's a fucking sham in many ways, all right? But we're all given a certain bribe. And the reason your politicians and your celebrities tell you to shut the fuck up and you're being a nut and to go along with stuff is they've been given a really good bribe. Despite the fact that the system fails billions of people around the world and pedophilia is on the rise and constant states of war and famine and hardship and manufactured poverty and manufactured scarcity and homelessness, the people at the top, the system works for them. So they're going to tell everyone else that if the system doesn't work for you, it's because, well, you're dumb or lazy or stupid or a weirdo or a conspiracy theorist. And as long as there's a middle class, there's enough people getting bribed that they'll go along with it. But we don't really have a middle class anymore because the people at the top got so greedy they took all the money from them. And this ain't new because the French Revolution happened because, well, not simply because the king, it wasn't even the king. The country went bankrupt because the nobility wouldn't pay taxes. The church and the nobility, and this dated back well into early feudal times, were exempt from taxes. The poor paid all the taxes. And it's almost like nothing has changed. Anyway, if the system works for a noble, I promise you, if you asked a nobleman, does feudalism work? He's going to say yes. Anyway, questions. I'm going to do 2 questions real quick. Have you ever cooked something and not been hungry by the time it's done? No, I guess I just didn't eat as much. What I have done is I've snacked while I'm cooking and then, I'm eating the food, taste testing, and then I have the whole meal, and then it's done. It's like whatever. But no, I don't. If I'm starving, I'm gonna eat. I don't go through the process of cooking if I'm not starving. Anyway, I left my 11-year-old at a town football game. I was worried he was gonna get in trouble. Is it weird that I make him text me within a minute of me texting him? Yes. You're setting that kid up. Let him make mistakes. Let your kids be kids. They need to act a fool. They need to get in trouble. They need to have their first experiences with women or alcohol or whatever, or vice versa. If she's a girl, you want to keep her away from boys. If you don't let her learn a lesson with boys when she's young, like getting her heart broken, then she's going to be a grown-ass woman getting bamboozled by men. So let them fuck up, okay? Let your kids be kids. They need this. They need to fuck up. They need to make mistakes. They need to have these experiences. It's good for them. Let it happen. Don't try and take that away from them. Also, the 1 minute thing, he's with his friends. Don't, they're going to rag on him hard. And, look, give him, say, 10 to 15 minutes, okay? He's 11. He probably shouldn't even have a cell phone like that anyway. I wouldn't give my kid 11 a cell phone. I just let him go be a kid. You don't need to be there. You shouldn't be there. He needs to be able to learn to be his own person outside of you as a parent, or else he's going to end up like President Skinner living with his mom in The Simpsons. Okay, you're going to give him that type of complex, and what it will do is later on in life, he won't be able to view himself as an independent person. He's going to need someone else's input or decisions, and as a result, he's going to get into a very codependent relationship with a woman who will probably do the same shit. And he's going to be with a woman who, if he's out with the boys, I want to text every minute when you're out with you, and he's not going to have the courage to say, or to know that it's wrong, and to say, bitch, step the fuck off, I'm with my dudes, get off my ass. He needs that. And you don't want him to recreate that sort of relationship with a woman later on in life, because we do mimic the relationships we have with our parents of the opposite gender. Unfortunately, we need to come to terms with this. Will affect the relationships we have with the opposite gender as throughout our lives, both intimate and non-intimate. So, a woman's raised by a weak man, she's going to date weak men. A woman's raised by a strong man, she'll date strong men. All right? Because a woman who's raised by a strong man could never fuck a weak man, because she knows what a strong man is, because she was raised by one. And when she's around weakness, from a man, it's disgusting. It makes her pussy dry. Sometimes it can be sometimes a woman raised around weak men will pine for that strength because she wasn't given it. That can happen too. Either way, let the kid be a fucking kid. Let him fuck up. Let him get in trouble. Let him make mistakes. Okay, he's 11. Relax. He's gotta get hurt. He's gotta get hurt because it's good for him. Because you ain't gonna protect him when he's a man. Only he can protect him. And if he thinks someone's always going to come and save the day, he's going to... That's how you wind up with dudes who have parental issues, and they replace their parents with the government. You know? You ever meet people who, despite the fact that our government is clearly evil and fucks kids and creates war in foreign places and murders innocent people and does all this horrible stuff and chooses multi-billionaires and corporations over us on a daily basis, people go to them. I've realized that being outside the city, they go to them in a paternalistic fashion, a maternalistic, take care of me. You're an adult. The only person taking care of you is you. Let him grow. Okay? Let him be a fucking boy and make mistakes so that one day he can evolve from a boy into a man. And you don't get to be a boy into a man until you're left on your own to make your own mistakes and to fuck up and make your amends with the consequences. Drop down in the land of the Delta Blues, in the middle of the pouring rain, and I'm walking in Memphis. Peace! With a hood, yeah.